Today's Valentine's Day, and for the fourth year in a row, I'm single, which is a little surprising considering how romantic of a person I can be. Hey babe, ready for your Valentine's Day surprise?
Oh, Pat, I told you didn't have to do anything special for Valentine's Day.
Well, I wanted our first Valentine's Day together to be special, so I got us 2 tickets to the Sonic movie.
Oh, you shouldn't have? You know what? It'll be fun to go to a movie together.
Great. By the way, I'm kind of low on money, so you're gonna need to Venmo me for your ticket.
Okay, I'll Venmo you later, I guess.
For the record, Sonic the Hedgehog is very romantic. Also, fair warning, never look up the terms Sonic and romance together, you will be sorry. The internet can be a dark, scary place. Anyway, since I don't have anyone to celebrate Valentine's Day with, I thought it'd be a good idea to celebrate Valentine's Day by myself, by writing a short story about romance. I know, I always talk about never writing romance, so I think this would be a good challenge to try a genre that I'm not typically used to. And since romance is a genre that I typically don't read or write, I thought it'd be a good idea to start this video by reading some romance. So I'm going to start this Valentine's Day special off by reading Shrek. Why is that in the script? I'm not going to read Shrunky. Like we've already been over this. Come on, dude. You teased it in the other video and the viewers want to see it. No, the whole thing was that I would read it if that video got 100 likes. It didn't even get like 20. Either you read Shrunky or I tell them about your high school girlfriend. What are you talking about? I didn't have a girlfriend in high school. We went to an all-boys school, remember? Remember, you didn't have a prom date, so you started referring to your hockey stick as your girlfriend. And okay, that's enough. I'll read it. I'll read Shrunky. Oh boy. Shrek and Fiona are so in love on their way to help out a friend when all hell breaks loose. Donkey gets knocked the F out by a dinner plate. Shrek and Donkey admit their feelings for each other, and Donkey. Oh god. The following are excerpts from my reading. I have a confession to make, Donkey. I think I may be in love with you. I was so heartbroken when you got with Fiona, but I just wanted you to be happy. Your chest hairs have me acting up. She reached into her back pocket and pulled out a thermonuclear bomb that she shoved into Shrek. The explosion blew up the hospital. I have absolutely no words to describe what I just read. Somehow, the smut isn't even close to being the worst part. Oh my god. This was like a 5-minute read, and I don't think I'm gonna recover from it for a long time. What? This was clearly not the romantic inspiration I was looking for. At this point, I think the only thing to get that out of my head is to actively start writing. Considering the romantic short story I'll be writing today is a part of Welp Now What, I figured it'd be a good idea to have the asteroid be a catalyst for how this couple got together. Hold on a second, you're saying you don't know what Welp Now What is? This year, I challenged myself to write and release one short story per week. In order to complete that challenge, I created the project Welp Now What on Wattpad. Be sure to check it out after watching this video in the link below. All the short stories featured in Welp Now What tell the story of an apocalypse that never happened. An asteroid set to decimate an alien world much like our own vanished at the last possible second. And now all the people on the planet are forced to deal with the consequences for the actions that they didn't think would matter. Welp Now What has been a great opportunity to get myself to write more consistently while also exploring different genres, like romance in this video. Now let's get back to writing. I don't know if it's the fact that I've only been in one relationship ever and it lasted like 4 months, or the fact that I don't normally write this genre, but brainstorming for a romance short story is a lot harder than it normally is for me to generate story ideas. Ugh, I genuinely don't know what I want to do with this story. Normally, I feel like I would go with the route of like telling the story of someone like confessing their love before the apocalypse, but I don't know. See, like that doesn't really work for Welp Now What because the whole concept is that all the stories take place after the apocalypse already happened. So I kind of need like a next event to carry the story. That can be like a plot point. I don't have any like conflicts I can think of. It's like way more difficult to come up with positive story ideas than like negative ones. If this video hasn't made it abundantly clear yet, I don't not write romance because I don't like it. I don't write romance because I'm really bad at it. Like I've been at this for an hour and a half and I haven't even started writing. I haven't even taken a break yet. I only have like 4 ideas on this page. I have a few now, but compared to like my typical list of short story ideas, these are terrible. A girlfriend tries to prove to her boyfriend that she did not just date him because she thought the world was ending. I kind of like that one, but I don't know what like the big action she would do to prove that she actually loved him is. So, putting that one on hold. A guy tries to raise money in the post-apocalyptic failing economy to buy his girlfriend a gift. A lot of like these ideas, like the meat is in the details, and this just isn't my thing. Don't get me wrong, I think in my books I'm pretty decent at writing subplot romance, but actually writing a story where all the main plot points are like romance related, it's a lot more difficult for me. Third idea on this list, a love letter. That's not even like an idea, it just says a love letter. Maybe her saving an old love letter would be the sign to her boyfriend that she didn't just date him because the world was ending. Like a Valentine from when they were kids. And it's a Valentine's Day themed episode, that's not bad. Man thinks of his wife who died in aftermath and ends up meeting new love at support group meeting. That's kind of dark. God damn it. Couple tries to come up with free dating ideas when economy plummets. I keep on throwing like the economy failing in these. I guess like my idea is like I kind of want to write a story where, it shows that like love means more than money. Also, in the world building for future stories and Welp Now What, I'm trying to address some of the issues the world is facing as a result of the apocalypse not happening. One of the things I'm trying to point at is a lot of the workers quit their jobs before the apocalypse happened, or at least they thought the apocalypse was going to happen because they didn't think they would need to save money anymore. So now, like the world's like financial system is in complete disarray. So I actually thought it'd be a cool twist, not twist, but like a cool concept to have the story talking about how the economy is a disaster, have like a romantic theme to it and be like lighthearted. It just feels like it's not enough of a story yet. And because of that, I'm gonna try to write the one about a girlfriend trying to prove to her boyfriend that she did not just date him because she thought the world was ending. I just feel like compared to some of the other ones, it has like a more wholesome and lighthearted nature, which is kind of what I'm going for in this story. Moving ahead with this series of short stories, I have some twisted ideas coming up, so I think it'd be nice to have a nice lighthearted story before those. I really like to mix it up with my stories, that way I keep the readers on their toes. I kind of want to take a nap, but I know if I do, I'm not going to get any writing done. I totally should have bought red wine to do this video. That way I could like drink while I was like writing the story. This would have been so much easier. And it would have kind of been Valentine's Day themed, no? Remember when you said writing a romance book would be so much easier than writing a sci-fi one? Yeah, I know. I take it back. I feel like it would be easier to write the story in like a letter format, but I already have a letter earlier in the short stories with like a letter from the police commissioners to like the officers, like asking them to come back. So I don't want to write another letter story too soon. Another one of the stories is a text conversation going back and forth, so I really need another story that's like a solid piece. I mean, hey, one of the points of this challenge was to write in genres that I don't typically write in. Don't you hate how the cursor always mocks you? I get it. The page is still blank. You know I love you, right? I feel like that's too cheesy for an opening line. You know what? I'm gonna stick with it. The couple in today's story will be named Anna and Chris. Those are the first two names that came to my head, and after wasting so much time trying to come up with a story idea, I'm not wasting time on a name generator. Hello, Anders. I guess Anders is my Valentine this year. Also, people are always commenting about the tank. I just want to let you know the water is completely fine. There is a bit of algae growth, but I try to keep on top of it. And algae isn't dangerous for her at all. The water's pretty clear right now too. It's just like the algae's like caked up against the glass, so I have to find a time where she's like not active and like gonna swim in my way where I can just wipe it down quickly. I do appreciate all the comments concerned about her well-being though. One of the bright sides of making this video is recently I've been suffering from writer's block, but I was so focused on getting this recording in that I just started writing without thinking about it. It really goes to show that sometimes as a writer, you are your own biggest obstacle. Don't overthink it, just write. Writing this story is making me feel incredibly single right now. It's funny too because I'm cringing at some of the things that this couple is saying back and forth to each other. Like it's so lovey-dovey, and at the same time, like I'm the one who's writing it, so it's strange. I'm like jealous of a relationship that I created. I feel like that could be a cool story idea. Has that been done before? The concept of the story is two characters are talking about how they got together right before the apocalypse was supposed to happen, and the one character feels insecure and that he feels like the girl would have never said yes to him if the apocalypse wasn't happening. And without giving the whole thing away, because it is a pretty short story, right now it's under 1,000 words, the girl finds a clever way to prove that she's always been into him. While I talk about my experience writing the story for the rest of the video, I'm going to put the story on the side of the screen. That way you can read it while I talk. I found this to be way more productive than actually reading the story out loud because I am terrible at reading stories out loud. Maybe in future videos I'll make like a skit or two about like certain scenes in the story, but it just didn't really fit for this one. Considering this is a genre that I typically stay far away from, I actually feel like I did okay with this story. Although if I'm being honest, I feel like compared to some of the other Welp Now What stories, this one is a little weaker. One of the things I don't really love and I feel like I need to work on over time is when characters are having a dialogue back and forth, a lot of the actions they do between their dialogue tags just feel awkward. The way my character looks down at the floor before he speaks or does stuff like that, it just seems too obvious what I'm trying to convey. And I don't know how to word it. It just feels like it doesn't fit together. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's definitely something I can improve. Another thing I can definitely work on is coming up with conflict in stories about relationships. Considering how much I struggled to come up with conflicts for this short story, it's definitely something I'm probably struggling with when I include relationships as subplots in my books I'm not realizing. And that's another cool thing about writing short stories. You can kind of isolate different parts of your writing and see what parts you're doing well and what parts you can kind of use work with. Moving forward, while the majority of Welp Now What will not be romance stories, I'll definitely include another romance story here and there. And who knows, I might also do a romance writing challenge in the future, considering it's something I clearly struggle with, even in this casual setting. If you did take a chance to read this story, let me know what you thought about it in the comments.
If you didn't read it while it was right there, I honestly don't blame you. I probably wouldn't read it either, so it's cool. That being said, at some point, I think you should check out all the short stories I've written for Welp Now What. The link is down below. I've put a lot of time into it so far, and I'm going to be putting so much more time into Welp Now What in the future, so it really means a lot to me if you check it out. That pretty much does it for my Valentine's Day video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. Did I do that right? Is this the heart? Or is it that? I don't like this one. I don't know if I don't do it right, but it just feels wrong. Also, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe for more content like this. Happy Valentine's Day and good luck on your work in progress.